Lamar Jackson, Ravens mad after offense sputters versus Chiefs. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was so infuriated by throwing an interception in the end zone in the fourth quarter that he ripped off his helmet with both hands and slammed it to the ground while walking to the sideline. For the presumptive NFL Most Valuable Player, another season filled with promise ended with a thud in the postseason. Jackson and the AFC's top-seeded Ravens struggled to move the ball and committed 3 turnovers in a 17-10 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game on Sunday. The loss drops Jackson to 2-4 in the postseason. "I'm not frustrated at all," Jackson said. "I'm angry about losing. We are a game away from the Super Bowl. We've been waiting all this time, all these moments for opportunity like this, and we fell short. But I feel like our team, we're going to build this offseason, going to get right, get better grind, and try to be in this position again, but on the other side of victory." Jackson had looked nearly unstoppable entering the first home AFC Championship game in the Ravens' 28-year existence. In winning his past 7 starts, including last week's divisional victory, Jackson had Baltimore averaging 33.9 points per game. Then, in Jackson's first conference championship game appearance, he did not resemble the game's top player, and the Ravens tied a season low in points scored. Baltimore became the first team in 20 years to lose a conference championship game when holding the opponent to 17 points or less. "We're mad," Jackson said. "Offense, we didn't put nothing on the board. We scored once. That's not like us. We drove the ball down the field. That's cool. But we got to put points on the board. But I feel like my team just angry, not frustrated. We just angry. We know how hard we worked to get here." Jackson is the betting favorite to win his second NFL MVP after producing career highs with 3,678 yards passing and a 67.2% completion rate. The Ravens were considered the most dominant team in the NFL this season by going 6-0 against teams that entered the week at least 3 games over .500 and beating them by an average of 26.2 points. But on Sunday, Jackson reverted back to his mistakes in previous postseasons. In his 4 playoff losses, he has now averaged 10.5 points, totaling 4 touchdowns and 8 turnovers. "There's certain moments that define you, and this is just one that'll be in his career," Ravens wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. said. "The greats have all been through tough times, and I don't think this is going to stop him from wanting to get to his ultimate goal. If anything, he's going to work even harder." Beckham added, "He wants it bad. I had never seen somebody so locked in and just in the flow, and in that era, I just felt like it was his time. And like I say, sometimes things happen in life, and it doesn't go the way that we planned, and it's just about what do you do from here." Jackson struggled to extend drives. On 3rd downs, he was 1 of 6 for 7 yards with 2 sacks. Jackson also had problems with the Chiefs' pass rush. He completed a season-low 41% of his passes against the blitz. "I told him to stand up tall," Ravens coach John Harbaugh said. "He's had a great season. His performance today was all heart. He fought, he went out there, and gave everything he had. So I don't think that's anything that I'd be disappointed in." Jackson has been fixated on leading the Ravens to a championship for years. When he was drafted by Baltimore in 2018, he said, "They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that." But despite leading Baltimore to the playoffs in 4 seasons, including 2 #1 seeds, Jackson has not been able to advance the Ravens to a Super Bowl. "Honestly, what hurts me the most is that I wanted to get him the recognition that he deserves," Ravens linebacker Patrick Queen said. "It's a team sport, but that guy was the main guy I was playing for. Honestly, this was his opportunity to be able to write some of that stuff off and move on to the next thing. That's why it hurts, because you want to see people like that, teammates that you love and care about, get what they're supposed to get, and that didn't happen today." 49ers open as slight Super Bowl favorites versus Chiefs. Line dips. The San Francisco 49ers have been installed as small Super Bowl favorites over the Kansas City Chiefs, but the point spread dropped quickly Sunday at sportsbooks around the nation. The 49ers opened as 2.5-point favorites at ESPN BET, but the line dipped to -1.5 within 20 minutes of being posted and was as low as -1 at some sportsbooks Sunday night. If the line holds, quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will be underdogs in a 3rd straight game. Kansas City is 9-3 outright as an underdog in Mahomes starts. The Chiefs entered the playoffs at 10-1 to win the Super Bowl, their longest odds of the season. But Mahomes led another postseason run, pulling upsets over the Buffalo Bills and Baltimore Ravens to get the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl for the fourth time in the past 5 seasons. The 49ers, the top seed in the NFC, were the consensus Super Bowl favorites when the playoffs kicked off. But they have had to survive back-to-back upset bids by the Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions. The Niners fell behind the Lions 24-7 in the first half Sunday and were listed as around 5-1 underdogs to come back and win the game. San Francisco rallied behind quarterback Brock Purdy in the second half and hung on for a 34-31 win. It was an expensive comeback for the betting public, which had flocked to bet the underdog Lions. Detroit on the money line was the most popular bet of the championship games at BetMGM Sportbooks. Ahead of the conference championship games, Caesars Sportbook had the 49ers listed as 3-point favorites over the Chiefs in a potential Super Bowl matchup. The Niners won a couple of nail-biters at home, and the Chiefs' defense has played very admirably, especially today. They just shut down the Ravens, Adam Pullen, assistant director of trading for Caesars Sportbook, said Sunday. That's why we went a little bit lower. Pullen said the 49ers would have been a small favorite over the Ravens, too, and added that he'd be surprised if the line moves enough to make the Chiefs the favorites in the Super Bowl. I can't see the Chiefs going off as a favorite, but you never know, Pullen said. San Francisco opened at -130 on the money line, and the over-under total was set at 47.5 at ESPN BET. The betting favorite has won 36 of 57 Super Bowls. Underdogs are 28-27-2 against the spread in Super Bowls. There have been 28 unders, 27 overs, and 1 push, with no over-under total archived on the first Super Bowl, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. Terms of Use Privacy Policy Addendum to the Global Privacy Policy Interest-Based Ads. Copyright ESPN Sports Media Limited. All rights reserved. Eager Jim Harbaugh ready to take a crack at Super Bowl. In his first interview since accepting the Chargers coaching job, Jim Harbaugh told CBS that he had talked to some of the team's top players, including wide receiver Keenan Allen, safety Derwin James Jr., and quarterback Justin Herbert. Harbaugh said his meeting with Herbert left him feeling a little starstruck. Harbaugh, who won a national championship at Michigan earlier this month, said he and his family were torn about returning to the NFL. Harbaugh played quarterback in the NFL for 14 seasons, spending his final 2 years with the Chargers, 1999 to 2000. He coached the San Francisco 49ers from 2011 to 2014, but his tenure ended in controversy. He and the team's front office and upper management were at odds, eventually resulting in Harbaugh leaving to coach at Michigan in 2014, a year before his contract expired. But Harbaugh said the opportunity with the Chargers makes sense for him now. I love Michigan, but I love the NFL too. There's no Lombardi in college football, Harbaugh said. I've got so many sands left in the hourglass, and I want to take a crack at that. Harbaugh takes over for Brandon Staley, who finished his 48-game tenure as Chargers coach with a .500 record and 2 of the most embarrassing losses in franchise history. A playoff loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars in which Los Angeles blew a 27-0 first-half lead, and a 63-21 loss on December 14 to the Las Vegas Raiders, which prompted his firing the following morning. Harbaugh will be tasked with turning around a Chargers team that finished 5-12 this season and is projected to be $54.2 million over the salary cap next season. We work together. We win together. It's worth it, Harbaugh said of the culture he is hoping to build with the Chargers. The hard work, the sacrifice, the pressure, all of it. Why would somebody put themselves through that? Because the rewards are so darn good. Harbaugh will have his introductory news conference Thursday. Sources: Browns hiring ex-Bills OC Dorsey as OC. The Cleveland Browns have hired former Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey to be their new offensive coordinator, sources told ESPN. Dorsey replaces Alex Van Pelt, who served as Cleveland's offensive coordinator for the past 4 seasons. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, however, has called the offensive plays for the Browns since taking over in 2020. The Browns and Van Pelt, who also was the quarterback's coach, parted ways earlier this month as the team sought a new voice to work with quarterback Deshaun Watson. The Bills fired Dorsey on November 14th after Buffalo's offense struggled on the way to a 5-5 start. Buffalo rallied behind interim offensive coordinator Joe Brady to win the AFC East title. The Bills took the interim tag off Brady's title Sunday. Dorsey was elevated to Buffalo's offensive coordinator in 2022 when his predecessor, Brian Daboll, was hired as the head coach of the New York Giants. Dorsey previously served as the Bills' quarterbacks coach and was endorsed by star quarterback Josh Allen for the job when Daboll departed. But under Dorsey this season, Buffalo's offense failed to score more than 25 points from Week 5 through to his firing after Week 10 as turnovers plagued Allen and the Bills. In Cleveland, Dorsey will be charged with helping Watson regain his form after 2 uneven seasons with the Browns. Since being traded to Cleveland, Watson has played in only 11 games over 2 seasons. He also has a QBR of just 41.9 on a scale of 0 to 100, with the Browns ranking near the bottom of the NFL over that span. Watson is also returning from season-ending surgery to his throwing shoulder. Dorsey played quarterback for the Browns from 2006 to 2008. Bills named Joe Brady offensive coordinator, remove interim tag. The Bills have promoted interim offensive coordinator Joe Brady to the full-time offensive coordinator position, keeping a key component to the team's turnaround in 2023 that led to a playoff push and the AFC East title. The team announced the move Sunday, a week after the Bills' season came to an end with a 27-24 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. Brady was named interim offensive coordinator on November 14 when Ken Dorsey was fired. During the team's locker room cleanouts Monday, quarterback Josh Allen endorsed Brady for the role. "I would fully embrace it. I love Joe," Allen said. "I love what he brings to this team, to our offense, the juice that he has, the passion he has for football. How much preparation he's put into a tough situation these last 7 to 8 weeks. Yeah, I would fully embrace that. And obviously there's stuff that needs to go on before that. I understand there's probably an interview process and all that, but he's got my vote." Brady, 34, became the third offensive coordinator that Allen, 27, has worked with as a professional in his 6-year career. He was initially hired by the Bills to be quarterbacks coach in 2022 when Dorsey was hired as offensive coordinator. Those moves were made due to Brian Daboll leaving the coordinator position to become head coach of the New York Giants. Allen spent his first 4 NFL seasons with Daboll calling plays. After Brady took over play calling in Week 11, the Bills had the second highest designed rush percentage in the NFL, 46.5%, compared to 26th from Weeks 1 to 10, 35.5%. Allen's rushing also increased, with 48 carries through the first 10 games and 83 in the 9 games that followed. In addition to the increases in the ground game, Allen's interceptions per attempt went down from 3.1% to 2.3%, and corresponding with the running game. The time of possession average increased from 29:50 to 34:38. The offense showed improvements as Brady spent more time in the role. The team went 7-2 during that stretch, including playoffs, with a 6-game winning streak to end the regular season, a key to the Bills winning the AFC East and making the playoffs. This is Brady's second full-time job as an NFL offensive coordinator after serving in the role with the Carolina Panthers from 2020 until being fired during the 2021 season. Before that, he spent the 2019 season as the LSU passing game coordinator with quarterback Joe Burrow winning the Heisman Trophy that year and the team winning the national championship. Both Brady and coach Sean McDermott played football at William & Mary. "I thought Joe did a really nice job coming in and building great communication, collaboration, a vibe with Josh," McDermott said last week. "And then I think you saw the results of that through the course of, I believe it was 6 games, and so I thought he did a very nice job in that regard." Players throughout the locker room referenced the energy Brady brings as part of what stood out about him upon taking over, in addition to his communication. With Brady taking over mid-season, he did not have the opportunity to fully implement his system or make significant changes to the offense, time that this offseason presents. "We ran the ball extremely well, stuck to that," Allen said of the offense under Brady. "I think we got back to some simpler concepts. Did simple better with him. I know if that's the route that we went, there'd be a little bit of change in terms of systematically what we would be doing, which I'm hoping for, and having some good talks with him. And just seeing what could be, it does get me excited.